All right, cool. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining on your busy Friday night to take some time out to listen to a couple of us talk about D&D. I'm going to share this presentation right here. This is the this is the call-out meeting for D&D at IU for spring 2021. If you're supposed to be somewhere else, like the Sweet Potato Club, you probably should head out now. This is not your club, so I would just go ahead and do that. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. But yeah, so who are we? What is this? Well, if you've seen from the description, or maybe you have not, this is a club all about playing Dungeons and Dragons. But more specifically, it's more of an umbrella club at this point. It's a club where it's a sort of organizational, like a networking kind of center where we have a bunch of people and they can set up their own games in this club, and you can meet new people by connecting to them like through the club and meet through new groups that you probably wouldn't have otherwise. So we'll show you here in a little bit. There's actually a club roster that we update continuously every semester that will have a list of these games that you can look at, and then talk to the DMs for the dungeon masters, which are like the people that are running these games basically. So you'll be able to go and see them. And when you join a group, you don't necessarily have to be committed to it, but you can just kind of join wherever you want. We have multiple members who will often play sometimes one or even two games per semester and just kind of switch around. But when you have that flexibility there. So just to kind of introduce ourselves as like the council members here, the people who are kind of helping to run this whole thing. We have Daniel Mishler in this meeting, who is the secretary. You got Mackenzie Stilson, who is our vice president. There's me, Tyler Sturley. I'm the president. Matthew Kutsipanagos, who unfortunately couldn't join us at the moment, but he is the organizational director. And then Noah Zimmer as the treasurer. And the organizational director is something that is specific towards like our club. It's just kind of something we invented because we saw the need for it. I think we saw the need for this role and to help us with running things. Essentially, because we have all these different games, it's a way to help dungeon masters or get new resources, like games, to get different resources to help run the games, or to help with connecting other people together, or like to help find some sort of solution if they need something for a game specifically that they couldn't get on their own. That's kind of the role of this organizational director. And they're also the person who keeps the roster updated. So it's kind of like one of their main roles there. We also have a special guest joining us today. Jay Duncan. He's a professor in the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering. I think I had that right, basically. But yeah, and he's also the faculty advisor for our D&D club ever since its founding. And he is going to be able to share a couple words. Actually, Jay, would you like to introduce yourself now?
Sure. So yeah, feel free to call me Jay. I don't normally look like a mind flayer, although I do appreciate that. That's cute. And mostly I drop by to say hi to everybody. I don't normally come to the meetings because I'm busy doing my own gaming elsewhere with people who are older, my age. But I am so excited that this club exists. I was thrilled to hear that it was being founded. I've been watching it grow, and I am just so excited that gaming has really kind of taken off these days. I have been playing D&D since I was like 13, when there was just Dungeons and Dragons and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for people who wanted a little bit more math in there. But I've also played a lot of other systems. These days, I kind of prefer Fifth Ed is great, but I also like things that are not D&D, like Blue Rose, or various World of Darkness games, or Shadowrun, or other things like that. So mostly I wanted to say hi. If you need anything from a faculty advisor, I am here, and you can reach out to me. If you want to know what it's like to be a gamer once you can actually afford to, buy all those things you want to have, I'm also happy to talk about, gaming past college. And just general geekery also, about, the nerdiest person that I know. And if you go to Gen Con, I'll see you there. Sometimes I'm running events, sometimes I'm playing events. But yeah, people are out there in this hobby pretty much everywhere, especially these days. And if you take one of my classes with me, you will know secretly that I'm a geek, just like you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, Jay is definitely a very, very wise sage with all kinds of knowledge, especially about tabletop games and role-playing games and the like. Has definitely been teaching me quite a bit as well. So thank you for being a resource and just being here to help us like in any way we need. But yeah, so anyways, we have a lot of public documents actually that we share on a massive Google Drive that you can find like on our Be Involved page as well. So that's going to have all sorts of things like our club constitution, if you want to know just all those rules and things, the campaign roster that I was just talking about, which we're actually going to be updating soon. We have the one from last semester, and we were actually just about after this meeting, we were going to drop the new one in there. So you'll be able to see that. We have election procedures in case you really like this club and you think, hey, maybe I want to be a council member as well at some point because, well, eventually the people in our club, we're going to get old and we're going to leave eventually. So we need people to replace us and keep this club alive. So that'd be great. And you can talk to us council members too if you want some more assistance on that. And then also just DM code of conduct. So if you're running a game, just being a dungeon master, it's more information about that on how to make our players feel like they have a safe environment that they can, like feel creative in and also not feel threatened in. That would be pretty great. So we have all that stuff on Be Involved. And if you haven't joined yet, there's this big old link at the bottom right there of D&D at IU and Be Involved. And Be Involved, if you guys are familiar with it, it's like this website that IU uses to just like sort of connect all the organizations here, like all the different clubs and things. So you could also just type in like Dungeons and Dragons, like just dungeons, and it'll probably pop up like immediately. So I think you'll be able to find that like pretty quickly. So meetings this semester, it's going to be a little bit weird, kind of like last semester, because we are in a pandemic right now. So it's been kind of difficult because typically these tabletop games are played at a table with people physically, like in front of you. And usually we have our meetings like just in every Friday, kind of like this at this time, where we would actually be in Luddy Hall and we would just be taking over one of these large like lecture halls, and we'd just be kind of talking about updates and various things that we have for like the first 15-20 minutes or so. Then people like split off into games, but now it's a little bit different. So people don't necessarily have to come to these like they usually did anyways. Like we're just basically going to be posting the recorded video of any announcements or any new games or opportunities or events that are coming up. And we're going to be sending that out via Discord so that you can just view it like on your own time. Or if you don't want to watch, I understand, but they're very cool and you probably should. So what we're still doing anyways is that you're still able to split up into game groups, and you could still connect to various like groups here and there. And we have options for both if you want to try doing this virtually or if you want to do in person, but we would just advise that if you're going to do it in person, like please just follow safe practices, follow local laws, and all that stuff. And we're not endorsing that you do any unsafe practices for gaming here, but we want to try to see if we can still include ways for people to have fun. So next. We have a little section here about our merch. This is actually brand new to D&D at IU. We've been trying to do this for quite a bit of time, actually. I think probably a whole year at this point. And we finally have the support necessary and all the in-house logistical stuff to be able to handle merchandise. So I'm going to have Lauren Stein here talk about this a little bit. She was someone we appointed to help us, to help the council with setting this up. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about kind of the options we have here and kind of when you're going to be able to purchase this if you're interested. So you can go ahead and talk about that, Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I designed the logo with some help from for a while. We've had some different options like t-shirts, crew necks, and face masks. I've also been an officer for other clubs, so I used the same company that we use. So we're able to get the options as cheap as we did now. Most other options you will find are like $40, but this is actually a pretty good deal. For the merchandise, can you flip to the next slide? Sorry. So I'll be sending out a Google form in both GroupMe and Discord after this meeting. Orders will only take 2 weeks to arrive. Thankfully, they arrive right next to sample gates, actually, for me to pick them up. We now have a Cash App set up, so if you'd like, you can pay that way, or you can also pay in cash to any of the officers. We're in the process of getting Venmo set up as well for an extra option. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and we'll also send out another Google form when you're ready to pick up your order for where and when is best convenient for you. And we'll give different options for that.
Is there a time limit on when we can make an order, or will it be open for just a while?
It'll be open for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And depending how many orders we have, we also have the potential of adding a quarter zip as well for an option.
Adding what?
A quarter zip.
Okay, do we have any more questions about that? Yeah, so like as we have here, the initial options we have, you can get a t-shirt, crew neck here. It's very, very soft in the inside. And we also have face mask options if you want as well. And we are thinking about doing quarter zips as well. So we'll just kind of see the interest that's going to spur with that. And then we'll get to see if we can get some orders on those too. But yeah, I think I kind of talked about this earlier. Essentially, like when you're wanting to play, it can be in person or virtual, but we're encouraging that DMs try to work with players. Like if they don't necessarily feel comfortable being in an in-person situation and they still want to play with the player, then just try to make it so that you can like be inclusive to them or figure out ways that you can still play the game with them. So yeah, that'd be great. Also, chalking is something that we like to do every semester. And for us, it's still going to be happening soon. This was actually us last semester doing it, where we go around the campus and we take chalk and we draw fun advertisements with fun pictures about our club. So there's all sorts of various things about that, just kind of like making D&D puns or just whatever sort of drawings, and then just kind of trying to recruit other people through that way. Surprisingly, in the past, this was the only way we advertised other than word of mouth. And somehow we still recruit all kinds of members somehow. I don't know how this works. And even during the pandemic, it still happens, even though there's not a whole lot of people on the campus in the first place. But we still do it because it's fun. And sometimes we get new members here and there. And it's nice because you get to be able to meet some people that normally you probably wouldn't have been able to meet before in our club. So it's a great thing for that. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that, for the announcements. We're probably going to be doing it more so in the beginning of February, or hopefully when it's not snowing a bunch. But we'll be trying to work that out. So just be on the lookout for that. Also, another thing in the works, we're going to be having the 2021 Winter Involvement Fair that's coming up, and that's just in general for all clubs, and we've been invited to it. And it's going to be happening January 26th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's going to be virtual. And if you'd like to help out and represent the club in that, you can also help by telling us if you'd like to be there at a certain time, and you can just talk about the club to prospective members or just new people that want to come in. So that'd be awesome if we could have some extra support from that too, or if you'd like to support your club that way. Yes, and now I can show you kind of a little bit of the game roster at this point. Yeah, so this is what the game roster looks like. And it's essentially what we have is so you'd have the name like of your campaign, like the number of players that you have in there. So like the left is how many they currently have, and the right is just kind of like the limit or how much they're willing to go at that point. Although some DMs I've heard they're willing to go like a little bit past their limit if they like need to include just one more person. There's the DM name in there. There's like where they prefer to be contacted. And you can also see if they're going to be virtual or in person at that point, and then just kind of the times that they're meeting as well. So at the moment, the ones that were entered in here look to be full, but there are some that look like that they're not entirely full. So if your campaign is not full and you'd like to talk about it here, you can go ahead and do so now. Or just let me know. I think Daniel
Well,
Mishler.
Yeah, it looks like it's just me who's talking about a non-full campaign. For people whose campaigns are full, if you're here and want to talk about it, go ahead and use the raise your hand function in Zoom and say 20 or 30 seconds about your campaign. This is part of what we'd always done at the beginning of all of our in-person meetings, but with Zoom, we don't make people sit through it. It's not the same without everyone being in the same physical room. So this is what we've done. But anyway, um, I've run a bunch of campaigns in the past, and I would always switch to a new group each semester, taking newer players. And Tyler, would you mind scrolling down a little bit to where I've mentioned that?
Yeah.
I don't actually have a title for the campaign, so I called it Coming in Clutch because there were no DMs that had open campaigns. So I have a lot of ideas, and I have a lot of homebrew things that could happen in the world of Sapaga. I listed a few there, whether you are exploring political intrigue in an immoral yet corrupt council in the largest city in the West, or defending a small town for werewolves under the light of 2 full moons. There's a lot of ideas that I have, and I put my contact information up at the top. If there's a lot of people interested and it's a go, I would love to help create another little community as part of the club. I plan on playing in person though, so of course I would, if you're comfortable with that, shoot me a message. And now it looks like Ben has something to share for his campaign too, so I'm done sharing mine.
Yeah, so it's been a little while since I've been able to do one of these campaign updates, but I'm Ben. I'm the DM for the Mysteries of Takaret campaign. In this campaign, a group of Warforged have awoken in an ancient citadel. Now, there's no trace of their civilization that disappeared millennia ago, but through their exploration, they heard that they're evil, and it's coming back. They may be the only ones who can stop it. They have no idea what it is, and every time they try to find answers, all they end up with is more questions. But they might be getting a bit closer.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
And Zach, I saw you raise your hand for a bit there. You want to share about your campaign, or is that a?
Yeah, we're full though. Do you want me to still talk about it or no?
Yeah, go ahead and give us a blurb. Give us a minute or so.
All right. So, hey kids, you know it's a cool video game, Hades. But what if we took Hades and added other gods and then put it in a D&D campaign and you get to die a lot? Well, that's my campaign, and we're already full. Sorry. And tonight is going to be the big battle against Lord Hades. And remember, there's no escape from dying. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you very much. So these campaigns, they can like open and close here and there. Normally we have a lot more games that are open at this point, or like some people that may have like other games but just haven't posted them at this point. But it's mostly just due to challenges with the pandemic, where, for example, like online campaigns can be really difficult, or some people may, perhaps like only want to do it like in person. I've also heard like here and there that there can be challenges there. So just be on the lookout for that. And when we get more spots that can be open in other places, we can always just like share that like in Discord or group me, just like here and there when there's a new group. Just work on like kind of advertising that and getting that out. But that's kind of the status currently on the games that we have.
Yep, and we also will wait until February hits and everyone comes back to campus, and then we chalk, and maybe we'll grow, and maybe we'll add more campaigns. So it's not the end all be all, but we will go ahead and post the roster in a bit so that you all have access to it.
Alrighty. So other than that, that's about the end of my presentation. But if you haven't seen some of these already, here are some very important links on connecting to our clubs. We have the Discord link right there if you'd like to join that, our GroupMe, our Be Involved page, and eventually Cash App if you plan on paying that way for merchandise. But we will be working on that Venmo link to be able to get that up. But Venmo, for whatever reason, likes to make it extremely difficult to set up an account. So we're going to work on that. But otherwise, thanks for joining. If you have a group, you can go ahead and play with them. And if you'd like to join Danny's campaign here, stick around and he could talk to you a little bit more about that. And if you just have any more questions in general, feel free to just pop that in any of our chats anywhere. We can give you some support.
Should we close out the video with our D&D Dungeon Master's Oath, Tyler?
Yes, yeah, definitely. We also have
Alright.
this fun thing that we do usually every semester, where it's it's called the Dungeon Master's Oath, where it's kind of like a promise in a sense, like kind of like if it was like a Hippocratic oath in a sense, like it's a promise that you make as a DM, like as far as how you're going to carry out your duties. So this is actually from last semester, but I believe all of the Dungeon Masters are the same in this one. And we did a recorded video this time because we couldn't all do it in person. But I hope you enjoy.
Let me know if you guys can hear it. Can you hear Matt talking?
I cannot.
All right, let me change my screen share settings so you can, and then
I
we'll
think
fix it.
sometimes settings do that. Yeah.
Okay, should work now. You can hear him talking?
Yes.
All right, we present
I think you might just need to turn it up a little bit, but
our Dungeon Master's Oath.
It is now time to go over the D&D at IU DM's oath of office. Every DM has to go through this in order to be in the eyes of the club official. So let's get started. Everyone raise your right hand and read along with me. I, Matthew Kutsupanagios.
I, Daniel Mishler.
I, Zach Levy.
I, Daniel Aiden Galvez Price, and my son, Senior DeVito.
I, Emily Greaves.
I, Ben, or Ben Alpha.
I, Ben, or other Ben, or Ben Prime.
I, Ada Mars.
I, Jacob Sievert.
I, Luke Bowden, pledge to uphold this code of conduct of Dungeons & Dragons at IU.
Even if my players
Nuke the BBEG.
Or destroy important NPCs.
or painstakingly slow rolling.
Or totally ignore all campaign hooks.
Or disagree with me in general.
And no nat 1 can separate me from.
Or nat 20 can dissuade me from.
Upholding the tenets of the Constitution and Code of Conduct of Dungeons & Dragons at Indiana University.
I also certify that
I am not under the charm spell while taking this oath.
Nor am I through the charlatan background.
And will carry this oath to the best of my infinite ability as a dungeon master. So help me, Asmodeus.
So help me, Corlon.
so help me God.
So help me, the Dark Lord Asmodeus.
So help me, Hallandar.
So help me, RN Jesus.
So help me, every single god in this world.
So help me. I don't know what this guy wants. Anybody know?
Thanks for coming to our call out, everybody.
All right, and that'll be it for us. Does anyone have any other questions or comments they'd like to make?
If not, we hope you have a great spring semester of 2021, and we hope that it is full of fun moments in D&D.